How much do you know about K-food? How much hanchik have you eaten?
We invite you into the world of Korean food, of course, including the history and culture of it.
We'll introduce trendy foods and famous restaurants on Dish of the Day with
Chef Ryan Phillips.
That's right, Chef Ryan is in the studio. We're off the back of Seoul. I haven't actually seen you in person in the studio for a couple of weeks as well. How have you been doing? Because you just got back from the States. And then I went over to the UK.
Yeah, ships passing in the night.
It was indeed. It felt a bit like that. How was the episode with Paul, by the way?
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah.
What did you feed him? Do you remember?
He actually couldn't eat it. He has an egg allergy.
Oh,
and
yes,
I was
he does.
unaware of that until the morning.
Oh, dear.
And yeah, there was a lot of egg.
What was it? It was
Jun.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we did a Jun.
The pancakes in the lead up to Seoul. I should have got him to get out his allergies. I forgot.
Poor guy.
That. Yeah, he eats a lot of things, but not egg. Oh, dear.
Poor guy. Yeah.
You got your fair share there instead.
Boy, oh boy, did I ever. Plus, the Panchankage, the side dish store next to my kitchen, they gave me this. Well, those guys, over the holiday, it's so cool here. People need their Jun. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we'll turn to a place like a Panchankage, a side dish store to get it.
Sure, right?
Yeah, and so these neighbors of mine had pulled in reinforcements. They had 2 extra people working with them.
Wow.
So doubled the staff, and they're going from 5 a.m. So I had some pizza dough that I'd been fermenting in the fridge for a couple of days, and I busted out some huge pizzas.
Nice.
Really, really, I thought they were really lovely, and I just showed up with lunch at lunchtime.
Oh,
they weren't even taking a lunch break because they're so busy.
Yeah,
and I just bring in these 2 pies and throw them on the table for them, and they were like, oh,
yes.
So then in return, which I didn't need, they gave me a mountain of various Jun.
Wow.
And I couldn't eat them all. I had to share some with Luna Bear.
I'm a bit sad I missed out on the Solal spread because I was in the UK. There's nothing Solali.
Nothing.
And, when I was young, I remember Lunar New Year, it was called Chinese New Year. And I also saw, actually, it was interesting, the BBC, they released this video saying, is it Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year? And both sides have some arguments to, persuade you that it is one or the other. Because I always thought, you can't say Chinese New Year because many other countries celebrate it. Right. But if you look back at the origins, it does originate in China, it seems, right? Okay. And then spread to other places, right? And so I was like, I can now see that argument as well. Like they're saying, no, the original root is that. But anyway, we call it Lunar New Year. There are indeed. But there was nothing. I didn't go to Chinatown this time, and it's not a day off in the UK. It was just a regular rainy weekday, and I was like, I kind of miss being in Korea at this moment in time.
But did you get a little bit of nostalgia, like a rainy day, sitting and having some traditional foods there?
Yeah, some British. We had a carvery. Do you have carveries in the US?
I don't think so.
Carvery is when you have your roast dinner, which is like a Sunday dinner, and they're carving the meat for you.
Oh, yeah.
And you get like 3 or 4 different meats to pick from.
Yeah.
And so we had the big Yorkshire pudding, which is the point of a roast dinner in the UK. Yeah. Loads of gravy, and that was delicious. Yeah.
A rainy, chilly day.
In a pub. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. I didn't complain about the weather. Today's hashtag, quickly before we jump into the dish, is mun or door. Mm-hmm. What does that bring to mind for you, Ryan? I remember a phrase, because you are also a farmer, like if you leave the door open, it's like, were you born in a barn? Because people, I guess the implication is, often leave barn doors open or something. Is that a thing in the US? Were you born in a barn?
Yes, we say that. Were you born in a barn? And this reminds me of where I had a really great dinner last night.
Oh, nice.
Which actually is connected to what we're talking about today. I went to a North Korean restaurant with a friend, an very old friend who's visiting. Hi.
Oh, nice.
Who's visiting right now. I hadn't seen in almost 20 years.
Wow.
And so we checked out this restaurant. But we got sat by the front door, and it was cold last night.
And the door opening and closing.
That dang door would not close all the way.
Oh no!
So every time somebody came in to try to make a reservation or ask for a reservation or whatever, packed restaurant. We were waiting outside for like 30 minutes at least to get. But yeah, we're sitting by the door, and that that dang door, it would just close but be like 2 inches open.
So
but that
that
wind was
draft.
just like, yeah, it was rough. It was rough. Anyway, yeah, moon. Yeah.
That's what it means. So, did you have this dish last night? Because the North Korean version is quite famous.
I should have ordered it, but we ordered so much, Peter. We had so much, and I got the main part of this dish on plates in different ways. I might have sent in a video. Well, we'll see. But yeah, it was delicious. It was amazing. North Koreans, it is traditional up there to have our dish today or the elements of the dish separated out.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, teasing, many countries have a version of the main ingredient of this dish and call it many different things, right?
Oh, there's so many.
In the US, do you have something like this? Because in the UK, we have something called dumplings, but they're not like this. Those are like just stodgy. They're not filled. The whole thing is just stodgy, like flour.
And we share that with you guys. We share that. We're like chicken and dumplings. Now we're giving it away. Now you guys can guess what we're talking about. But yeah, in dumplings in America, for me, chicken and dumplings is the most common one. And it's just a floury dough that's boiled with the stock, and it's amazing. I love chicken and dumplings. It's one of my favorite things. But it's very different from the way many people think of dumplings, which is like what we're talking about today, mandu in Korean.
And the specific dish, right? Mandutguk.
Mandutguk, which we've never talked about before. We have talked about mandu, I'm sure, before, but I don't think we've ever focused on mandutguk. And look at that picture. Look at that beautiful mandutguk.
It looks amazing, doesn't it? And so mandu, in other countries you might call it a dumpling. In China, I guess dim sum is their equivalent. Well, and they've got lots of different types.
Raviolis, pierogies.
Oh, yeah. What's a pierogi?
Well, that's Polish or Russian, right? And they're not usually in a soup, I don't think. But similar thing. I mean, guys, if you have anything, please share the names of this kind of dish wherever you are. Yeah. Because I know almost everybody has this, and I'd like to learn all the different names.
That would be fun. And if you can send in photos as well, Daily K on Kakao Talk, we can show them later on. And what comes to mind as well after saying dim sum is, if we're talking about soups, there's got to be like wonton soup, that kind of thing, right?
So true.
Yeah, and that is delicious. And we have many different types of mandu here in Korea. I would say not as big a variety as all the different dim sums you can get at a dim sum place, perhaps, but still quite a good few. And little ones we had yesterday at home, the tiny ones, mulmandu.
Yeah.
The kids love those, and they're like really bite-sized, like popcorn mandu, basically.
Yeah, I've seen those in Chinese restaurants as well.
Yeah. They're delicious. Okay, so mandutguk, I guess, is perfect for the winter.
It really is. This is my first couple of years in Korea. I had this probably 2 or 3 times a week.
Wow. It's not too expensive as well. A mandu, if you want to make this at home, you can buy frozen mandu and just put it into a soup.
I would venture to say that like 7 out of 10 Korean households have a bag of frozen mandu in the freezer at all times.
I'd up that to 8 or 9 out of 10.
8 or 9 out of 10?
Especially if you've got kids, because it's the go-to thing, and it doesn't feel like that unhealthy.
You can throw them in a soup. You can just throw them in a pan. You can steam them. You could air fry them. You could do all kinds of things with them and just, instant food.
Yeah, and talking of our trips back home, I don't know what it's like in the US, but in UK supermarkets now, definitely frozen mandu. Definitely frozen dumplings, or maybe, as Ben says, the Japanese version, kyoja or kyoja. That is in many places now. And I think Brits feel that's a healthy alternative to other processed, like frozen food.
Oh, sure. I mean, if you're not deep frying them, then it's way better than so many other options.
I am looking forward to eating this. So you might even have it, at Solo with duck in it, right? A duckguk.
That's a good thing to mention, this picture, you can kind of see the duck there. Of course, the rice cakes. So really, I think it's the same price at most restaurants. This is a dish that you could go into like the traditional kimbap restaurants, and it's always on the menu. Yeah. And when I got here, it was only like 4,500 won. Yeah. Now it's maybe 6,500, something like that. But still, I mean, that translates to like less than $5 at the moment. And you could have either the mandutguk or the dok mandutguk. And I mean, that'll fill you up. But you get that with a kimbap.
Yeah.
Boy, you're stuffed. That's a big lunch or a big dinner under $10.
Yeah, and this is one of the rare occasions where with the soup, especially if it's the rice cake mandu soup, you don't really need a bowl of rice, right? Just what's in there because you've got all the starch.
Because the starch from the flour or the rice cakes, right?
Yeah, and it's so delicious. And you can see from these photos, it's not your typical spicy red broth, right? That sometimes can put off some foreigners who are not good with spice, right? It is as mild as it looks, right?
That's why I had to take my friend Camelia, who's visiting, to this because first time in Korea.
Yeah.
But, anybody first time in Korea that you're not so sure about eating, this is an easy one.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, even if you've had Chinese dumplings, they can have a lot of flavor sometimes, a lot of different things going on that'll seem foreign to you as a Westerner. But the Korean mandu, not so much.
Yeah.
It's very mild, it's very clean, and it doesn't weigh you down, doesn't make you feel bad at all.
Yeah, and a lot of the time you'll also have the soy sauce on the side to dip the dumplings in if you want a bit of extra saltiness. A lot of the time, the dumplings are seasoned, like the filling is seasoned enough where you don't really need to put it into soy sauce, right?
Yeah, I think it's a common thing here to just barely dip, you know?
Yeah.
And by Western standards, it's like dunk.
Soak it all up, right? And as you said, North Korea is famous for their mandu, for their dumpling. Yeah. And I went to one North Korean restaurant with my father-in-law, who was born in North Korea but grew up here completely, coming down during the war. But I remember it being much more bland is the wrong word, but a lot more plain tasting, like a lot more subtle.
Sure.
And so I was like, I don't know if I prefer this to... And it's like the Pyongyang naengmyeon as well, right?
Totally.
The North Korean noodles.
Totally.
Less seasoning. So I'm wondering if that is a cultural thing or it's the lack of seasoning available up there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. At the restaurant last night, the North Korean style restaurant, there was still more... when I was eating there, I was like, I bet you this isn't exactly North Korean style. Because I've been to other places or heard that they're often much more mild.
Yeah.
They're also huge.
They are big. And the coating is usually quite thick as well, right?
Yeah. We did a show, the K-Food show last year on Korean mandu, and it was so much fun. But yeah, definitely thicker, bigger.
Yeah.
It's not a one-bite dumpling at all.
No, it's huge, isn't it? We'll be back in part 2 to try this dish. Ryan has got it in the stone pot for us. Oh, that's still quite really warm, isn't it? Loving that. Let's listen to a track from Pretty Little Iris, our 2 p.m. DJ, Waltz with Your Ghost. Pretty Little Iris, very eclectic artist with her songs. Waltz with Your Ghost. Today we are waltzing with mandu, I suppose we could say, our Korean dumplings, you could call them. Ben's saying, there are many dim sum varieties of the dumpling kind. And on our last day in the UK, we had to go to a Chinese restaurant because the UK, the best food in my opinion, is Indian and Chinese food there. Like, absolutely delicious. And we went to a dumpling place, but I had over-ordered at every restaurant we've been to for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And so it was the last day I was like, I'm not going to over-order. And I regret it because the dumplings that you can get there, I know you can now get some decent dim sum in Seoul, but it's not the same. And I didn't eat all the ones I wanted to because I knew I'd leave them over.
Did you get the soup dumplings?
No, I didn't get the wonton. We got those because my daughter loves those. They have the soup inside, right? And you have to be careful because sometimes if they're really hot, they can scald you. And you also have to be careful when you pick it up if you rip it and the soup falls out. That's a disaster.
You gotta put it in the little spoon like this,
exactly.
And then cut a little hole and then slur. Oh, but they're lovely.
Delicious, isn't it? That is so good. I'm going to get them next time. You got some messages.
Yeah, Lily writes, Mandutguk, I have she has 2 whole bags of homemade dumplings in her freezer.
Wow.
Kudos, Lily, way to go. These aren't that difficult to make.
No.
Today we're talking more about how to make the soup.
Yeah.
But if you guys have any questions on how to make them, I'm happy to help you out. Or maybe Lily can help too.
There you go.
But Lily prefers steamed dumplings rather than the fried ones. I have to agree with you there.
Oh, yeah. The fried ones, sometimes they're a guilty pleasure. But if you eat too many, they are quite oily. And steamed, they're more than good enough, right?
Right.
And I don't know if you eat a lot of instant mandu, but there are ones out now that have a kind of glutinous rice in the coating. And so they're chewy as well. Like you get, and they're kind of translucent.
Get that texture play.
Yeah, they're really, really good. We also had Forest Phil saying, oh, God, my first wife would make chicken and dumplings, which she learned from her mama, and they were so good. That's not a thing in the UK, I believe, chicken and dumplings. We just have it in a stew or something, dumplings.
And in the States, actually, it could be a soup, or also it could actually be served on a plate.
Oh.
Like really thick, like you reduce that stock all the way down, and the dumplings soak up all the juice. Oh, it's
and they're
lovely
filled
stuff.
with flavors.
Well, the dumplings are just the dough.
Yeah.
Like sujebi here in Korea.
But all the juice goes in there, so it's not
Totally.
plain tasting.
Yeah,
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Siska writes, okay, so wonton or pangsit. You think I'm saying that right?
Pancit or panchit. I think the C is a CH sometimes.
All right. And love it in a soup as well. So you guys have a soup, so like we have here. And our favorite is with pork and shrimp or prawn filling.
Oh, that sounds
We
good.
don't get a lot of shrimp-filled ones in Korea. What's up with that?
I've seen in the supermarkets now, like going more towards like the kind of Chinese style where you get those prawn dumplings there. They do have some instant Korean ones,
Some
which
options,
often have
squid or shrimp.
Yeah,
or...
shrimp, but also still the minced like pork or meat under it as well, like together. And it's an interesting texture combination because the prawn is kind of bouncy still.
Right.
And then the minced meat, not so much. Iris, who we just played the song on, is on board now on the chat and says, I love the michin mandu from Cheongju. It's crazy spicy. And I looked this up, I've not heard of it.
Wow,
and it looks
okay.
super red. Wow.
Oh.
I don't know if I'd do well with that. I like kimchi mandu, which isn't too spicy, right? And you can put those in a soup as well.
I'm going to have to thank you for sharing that. I'm going to have to drive over that away here soon. Maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for that. Thank you.
Oh, lovely. Thanks, Iris, for getting on board on the chat. We'll show some of your photos. You sent them in part 3. But let's get to the dish in the studio.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to
All
this.
right,
Okay.
here we go.
We're going to open up the pot. Dun, da, da, da. Oh, look at that. It looks amazing.
Not too bad, huh?
Did you make this?
Would you know if I said would
The
you know?
dumplings, I would say, even from here, they look too professionally done.
Man, I will confess, I did not make this. I've been playing tour guide and trying to do my other stuff lately with good friends visiting, and so no, I can't take credit for this lovely dish.
So this is a store-bought or a ready-made?
Restaurant bought.
Nice.
Yeah, guilty. Oh, I feel so ashamed.
No, not at all.
The thing, this is not hard to make, guys. And I could have picked up the dumplings, but then I would have had to get all the ingredients and make the stock and everything, and I was running short on time yesterday. So,
of course, no problem.
I apologize, but this is the way you get it in the most common form. Like I was eating 2 or 3 times a week when I first came to Korea, because if you're on a budget or if you're unfamiliar with Korean food and just here traveling and want something healthy, delicious, it's easy to eat, this is a great go-to.
Oh, it's got the egg as well there, you can see. The egg drop in the soup, right?
Boy.
Oh,
Is that
looks
enough
good.
for you, man?
Yeah, I'll take this for now.
All right, grab a spoon. You got some chopsticks. This is one that you eat with both spoon and chopsticks.
Yeah, it's a double, isn't it, in that sense? So I'm going to show you the mandu, guys. Like, the shape is interesting. So I think these are made and then kind of pinched together, made in a long line and then pinched together, so they're a kind of circle. And so I've got to say, I like the bit that is more filled. Like, if you leave this bit, if you're watching the camera, which is the pinched together bit, there's way more dough than filling if you eat these two together. So I always like this bit way more.
You bite from one particular side first. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But this you can do in a mouthful, right? These are not like the North Korean. And so you've got the seaweed in the broth as well, some chopped carrots, some onion. And is that your touch on there, or did that come with it?
Yeah, I did that.
The little kind of scallions.
Yeah, normally you will garnish this with scallions. Or you also see, and this is kind of a neat little trick in Korea, you take an egg and separate it, yolk and white, and beat it a little bit. And then in a pan with just the tiniest amount of oil, a nonstick kind of pan with the tiniest amount of oil, you pour the yolk or the white, whichever one first, and then turn or have the heat on, but turn it off when you put that on, and then roll your pan around to make a really thin, even, like a miniature omelet, and then you don't even have to flip these things. It's just cooked with the leftover heat in the pan.
Yeah.
then throw that on a board and cut them into little pieces or ribbons and garnish with that.
Yeah.
Then you do it with the white as well, and you'll have both colors.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a common little trick that you can use with many Korean dishes.
I just had the mandu in one mouthful, and it is delicious. It's still
lovely.
nice and hot as well. And inside, you've got like the minced meat, but you've got like chunks of vegetables that are still like crunchy as well. And so with the moist outer casing, that difference, that contrast is really good. And the broth is, it's not plain, but it's definitely one that anyone, surely, right, would not be offended by.
This is the dashida yuksu. But sometimes you'll have mandutguk, and I think maybe more common in North Korea, with just a beef broth, a really simple style beef broth that you can make in 30 minutes, not the Western style, which takes 6 or 8 hours.
Yeah, and we also saw in your photos, like some of those pictures were with the creamy, milky broth, right? The ones that you get from the bones, right? Almost like a solongtang or something like that. So sometimes my wife will have like the frozen packs of that. Again, making that at home in 2026 is not a common thing to do, right? The bone broth. And so you have that separate, you defrost it, put the mandu in there, boil it up, and it's good to go. With the rice cakes as well, that works really well.
Yeah, that's a great way to make like an elevated dish at home quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it doesn't taste so ready-made or instant at all, right? And look at that. Apparently in China, Lilith is saying, we call that shape ingot fold, as in it resembles a gold ingot. Really? How does that look like a gold ingot? I'm going to have to look up pictures and give it a try as well. And you said, making dumplings is a family activity for me. I've been folding them since I was 8. My mum would get both my sisters and me to sit with her, and we'd all fold them. I think we'd make about 100 dumplings or more with the 4 of us. And that's what it used to be at Solal and Chuseok, right? The dumpling kind of like, what do you call it? The production line, right? Someone would do one part of it, pass it on. Someone would do the folding and the pinching.
What a cool family activity or tradition to have, yeah.
Unfortunately, again, as we have progressed in terms of modernity and the cheapness and the deliciousness of store-bought mandus means that not many houses do that anymore, which is really sad.
You know what happened is the folks sent their kids off to school to compete for the best education, to get the best job, and they didn't get to learn from mom and grandma in the kitchen. Yeah. And now we have a generation here that doesn't know exactly how to do these things, so we gotta relearn, man.
We do, and it all goes in cycles, right? I'm sure, the next generation might learn from those mistakes and so on and so forth. In part 3, we'll show some of your photos. In the song break, I'm going to have another dumpling because that is really delicious. That mandu is so good. This one is from Yang Yosop. It's Don't Go Away, 떠나지 마요. Time to talk more about Mandutguk. That is the dish of the day with Chef Ryan in the studio. Some of you giving us your versions in photo format here. One from Siska in Indonesia. Oh, look at all these different... They look like wontons more than just dumplings or dim sum in general.
I can almost taste them. Thanks, Siska.
I love the one in the top right corner there, in the really spicy, like really chagukjok, we would say, like stimulating sauce. You get that here in Korea. Have you been to the chain that came over from China, the Tim Ho Beep chain? They've got one at Yongsan. Where else have they got one? One at Samsung as well, down near the COEX. Tim Ho thing. That's really good. It's a chain, but it originated from like a vendor who was on the street and got a Michelin star and became famous for that kind of thing.
So cool. I got to ask you for that link. Yeah,
it's really good. That looks delicious. We've also got some photos from, I believe, next up it's Ingyin in Malaysia, who says, I've been having mandu over the Lunar New Year holiday, steamed, pan-fried, and added it to curry noodles as well. I bought these frozen Korean vegan ones at a local Kmart, but Mum couldn't eat them because it has the Oshinche, so it's all mine. The like foods banned from like Buddhist monks and whatnot. Those stimulate like garlic, chives and things like that, and onions. Yeah. In curry noodles. That's interesting. And this it just adds more flavour and more calories to like most dishes. You can just chuck it in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and you get the starch and the meat, and then sometimes there's a little more starch inside with some kind of noodle.
Yeah.
Little fun textures. There's so many different ways to go with them. And Ben writes here, in mid-Europe, French dumplings, including gnocchi. I didn't realize there were French gnocchi.
Oh.
And gnocchi's more like sujebi,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or like an American dumpling.
Yeah.
Like potato dumplings.
There
right?
you go.
Or the ravioli, and obviously in Italy, ravioli.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of ravioli. I'm always
Well, then
disappointed.
you've never
when
had
I
a
have
good
it.
one.
But like, I feel it's the sauce that it's in that is
Okay.
the most important. Like, if the sauce is a bit bland, and I had a cheese ravioli when I went back this time. Well, my son's friend ordered it, and then he left half, and I tried it. And I don't know, like, there's too much outer coating, and then inside, there's no like stimulating sauce. There's nothing that
you
knocks
just
your
haven't had
socks
a
off.
good one.
Really?
I'll
Really?
hook you up sometime,
Really?
man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then I'll try it
A
again.
goat cheese mushroom ravioli or spinach. And
Yeah,
then,
it was a spinach.
Yeah?
Something
Goat cheese, really?
Maybe goat cheese, but it was
There's
just
a lot
too,
of flavor in it.
Yeah, maybe it was because it wasn't an expensive restaurant, but yeah, they were cutting back, I think, on their fillings. Lilith also sent in this one saying this was a New Year meal since eating dumplings at this time of year is traditional. These are homemade ones, but I always do like to keep a stash of these in the freezer. Yeah, with homemade ones, you can chuck them in the freezer, and they
Those
do
little
look
ones too.
authentic, don't they?
Yeah. I could eat 100 of those suckers.
You're right. Like, you just keep on eating them. Then before you realize you're full, your belly is like sticking out. You're like,
man.
okay,
I
I've
did
had too
that at the
many.
North Korean. I ordered 16 Korean dumplings.
Oh
and
my goodness.
I ate 11 of them.
Wow. In terms of the filling, like Inyim reminded me saying the vegan ones. What are you putting in if you're not putting in meat? Because these are minced pork, right?
Yes, most commonly in Korea, you have minced pork. There'll be some tofu, maybe a little egg, and then the starch noodles. These have some starch noodles in them. Dangmyeon, which is made from sweet potato starch, but definitely a little bit of garlic, often a bit of ginger.
Yeah.
I really like to see the buchu, the garlic chives in dumplings, and that's fairly common as well.
Yeah, that's delicious. But if you're not putting in meat and you're going for a vegan one,
Yes.
what would you substitute in there? Because, like, you've got a photo of this dish, which is kimchi mandu. And maybe some people might think, oh, kimchi, that's vegetarian and vegan. But most kimchi mandos have the minced pork in them,
Have
right?
minced pork as well.
Yeah.
You don't see that many vegan mandu in Korea, but I guess if you were to find one, it would probably be a combination of tofu and vegetables. I might see some sukchu in there, some mung bean sprouts, and something like that, because then you'd have a nice little textural contrast inside, a little bit of a crunch. But yeah, don't see those very often.
It's not common. So yeah, if you're going to a regular mandu place, there's not catering to foreigners or like the new younger generation who we see a lot more vegans and vegetarians than traditionally here in Korea. I'm thinking you're all going to get meat in most of those, if not all of those dumplings. So be careful if you're very strict about that, right? But the kimchi mandu, again, that is really delicious as well. So
if you're not into eating pork, there are often in Korea, you can find dumplings that are beef rather than pork.
The kalbi mandu we had yesterday, as well as the mul mandu. And so those are like seasoned beef inside, not like proper kalbi, but it has that kind of flavoring to it. Right. Those are good as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You don't often find chicken either, though, right? In dumplings.
Never.
I've never, ever seen that. Why doesn't that work well? Minced chicken isn't really a thing?
Well, when you're doing the dumplings, you're using minced raw pork in the filling, right?
Yeah.
And then you cook it in the process of cooking the whole dumpling together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that with chicken as much.
Just in case.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I wonder how it will work flavor-wise. I don't think there'd be a big problem. Okay, so in terms of the recipe for a mandutguk, let's assume you got frozen mandu, right?
Yeah, let's assume you've got some mandu already, maybe from the freezer section of the supermarket. But you're going to do one of two broths, okay? Or maybe one of three. The most common, and what we have here today, is the dashimayuksu, often called anchovy broth or Korean anchovy broth or Korean kelp broth.
Yeah.
It has all those things. What you're going to want is a radish similar to a daikon, the Korean mu. You know, let's say you're making this for 4 people.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe a half of a radish. Okay. Those guys are big. That's going to be like 300, 400 grams, you know, a pound of radish, right? And you can cut that into smaller pieces, throw that in water. We'd go with maybe 1.5 liters of water would be fine for that. Then you're going to need some dried anchovies, and we remove the heads and guts and then throw those in there. Maybe about a 4-inch square of kelp, dried kelp.
You've got that in here if I show you on the camera, right?
Yeah.
You can eat this as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to eat some probably here real soon. I'm going to go to the East Coast. And I'm going to try to find some and enjoy that just right out of the sea.
Just have the kelp, yeah.
Absolutely.
You often find that as well in a certain brand of instant noodles, the raccoon one, and some people love to eat it as well. Like once it's been in the broth for ages, it's not like tough or hard or anything like it was
it's
before.
a little al dente. There's another seaweed in there too that you might be able to fish out.
Yes,
and that is just good old kim or laver.
Yeah.
And that adds another flavor element of the sea to it. You know, sometimes you could use the seasoned ones. It'll add even more flavor with a little sesame oil, maybe even a little sugar on them. But this is not a sweet dish.
No.
Here we've also got some carrots and the egg. But let's go back to that stock real quick. So you're going to get that radish, the anchovies, some garlic in there, definitely some form of onion. Here we use our giant Korean leeks, you know, the pa. But you could use any kind of onion you want. Bring that up to a boil, reduce it to a simmer, and let it go for about 30 minutes. Then you can take out all those ingredients. Like Peter was saying, though, you could take the kelp and cut them up into smaller pieces and put those back in.
Yeah, if you want to eat them. Because the mu is not in here, right? The radish.
No, the mu is not in there. So now you've got your base for your soup. Go ahead and bring that up to a boil again, and then throw in your mandu. Once your mandu are starting to float, then you can take a beaten egg and pour that in. And stir immediately, and it's like egg drop soup kind of thing. You'll get those egg bits there, but you can still do the garnish I was talking about earlier. Maybe while it's simmering a little bit. Also, when you're throwing in that egg, that's when you could put in tiny pieces of carrot if you want. Maybe even throw in some of the kim or the laver. And then garnish with some scallions, and you're ready.
Ready to go. I often like to put some black pepper in mine as well, especially if it's the milky like bone broth, right? The solongtan. Then it needs an extra kick to it, I feel. So there's no like saltiness to that. Did you say you're putting in soy sauce?
You're totally right. You would do soy sauce. And we've got guk kanjang here, a soup soy sauce, which is meant to not be as dark. You don't want to make this a darker broth. You want to keep it like this kind of color. And then also salt is used, and definitely black pepper to season and finish.
And then you're done. And if you want to put in the rice cakes, generally that is the little coin rice cakes, right, that you're putting in
In that case, you want to put those in along with your mandu. And again, when they start to float, then you're getting close to ready.
Okie dokie. That's a good tip for when they're ready. Because sometimes, obviously, if the mandu, the dumplings are frozen, you want those cooked all the way through. But the dug as well, when it's not cooked properly, it's, you get the wrong texture, right?
True.
It's not chewy enough. But if you cook it too much, then it's too chewy. That's not nice.
That's even worse.
Oh, CT says diced coriander is also nice. No coriander
you're going to
for
start
me.
a war now. I would say yes.
Really?
But that's not Korean.
It's not traditional Korean.
Unless you're near the temple area, and you guys know that this one little region that is famous for, lots of monks around there, they have eaten cilantro and coriander there in Korea, in that area.
For a long time, right?
A long, long time.
It's unbelievable. Okay, Chef Ryan, thank you so much for coming in today. I love that dish. So delicious.
My pleasure,
I feel
man.
like it's been a while since you've not brought in something I really dislike, so maybe next week. I don't know. We'll speak to the writer. We will see you again next Tuesday.
Thanks, man.
Here is Treyana to take Ryan out. 설탕, sugar.